In this lesson, we are going to look at solving probability problems that involve counting techniques. So we've spent a whole lot of time so far talking about probability and odds, probability of two events. Now we're going to look at probability that involves these counting techniques. We've got Paula, Jamie, and Andrea are competing with 7 other girls to be on their school's cross-country team. All the girls have an equal chance of winning the trial race. Determine the probability that Paula, Jamie, and Andrea will place first, second, and third in any order. So what we have to do again, we have to determine, is this a permutation or is it a combination? So does order matter or does it not matter? And in this case, we are wanting them to place first, second, and third. It says in any order, but we are still labeling first, second, and third. So we have to find all the different ways that those 3 girls will finish first, second, and third in order to find the probability that they place. So what we have is we've got 3 of them that we're looking at, and we want to see how many different ways that they can finish first, second, and third. But there are 7 other girls, so there are 10 girls altogether that are vying for these 3 positions. So we have to find out all the different ways that these 10 girls can finish first, second, and third. So what we have is 6 over 720. That's your probability. You could reduce it to 1 out of 120, or we could change it to a percentage, and it's about 0.83%. So not even a 1% chance that Paula, Jamie, and Andrea are going to finish first, second, and third in any order. It could go Paula, Jamie, Andrea, it could go Andrea, Jamie, Paula, etc. But those specific 3 finishing first in a specific order is less than a 1% chance. Michael hosts a morning radio show in Prince Albert. To advertise his show, he is holding a contest at Gateway Mall. He spells out Saskatchewan with letter tiles. Then he turns the tiles face down and mixes them up. He asks Courtney to arrange the tiles in a row and turn them face up. If the row of tiles spells Saskatchewan, Courtney will win a new car. Determine the probability that Courtney will win. So the first thing we need to do is, again, we need to understand, does order matter? So is it a permutation or is it a combination? And in this case, we are spelling Saskatchewan. So order is very important. So we're dealing with a permutation. The next thing we need to look at, we have a permutation with repetition. So we have to find out how many different ways can we actually order these tiles. All right, so there are 12 letters in the word Saskatchewan. What repeats? Well, S repeats and S repeats twice. A repeats and A repeats 3 times. So we have to consider those repetitions. So there are 39,916,800 different ways that those 12 tiles can be ordered. So now that we know all the possible arrangements, now we can find the probability. Now we want the probability that she's going to spell Saskatchewan. How many ways is that possible? Well, there's only one way to spell Saskatchewan. So it's 1 out of 39,916,800. So there's your probability. Not a very great chance that it's going to happen. Let's look at this last one. A student council consists of 16 girls and 7 boys. To form a subcommittee, 5 students are randomly selected from the council. Determine the probability that 3 girls and 2 boys are selected for the subcommittee. So what we have to do here is 2 things. Probability is always what you're looking for out of the total. So your favorable over the total. So there are two things we need to find here. We need to find the favorable, which is picking 3 girls and 2 boys. We need to find the total, which is simply choosing 5 committees. The next thing is a permutation or a combination. Now we're choosing committees. It doesn't specify that we're going to give titles to these members. It doesn't specify it matters who's picked first, second, or third. We're just picking a committee, so it's combinations. So what we want to do is we want to find the number of ways that we can choose 3 girls and 2 boys. So there are 16 girls to choose from. We're going to choose 3 of them. There are 7 boys to choose from. We're going to choose 2 of them. There is our favorable. Over the total, how many people altogether to choose from? There are 23 girls and boys in total, and we're choosing 5 members on these committees. So that's the total possible ways that 5 people can be chosen. So when we do these calculations, we get 11,760 over 33,649. There's your probability. If you don't like how that looks, you can change it to a percentage. So 34.9, or about 35%. So you have about a 35% chance that there's going to be 3 girls and 2 boys on that committee. So with probability, you still have to determine whether you're doing combinations or permutations, so whether or not order matters. And then you also have to consider finding the probability of the favorable and the probability of the total. So we have to find all the possibilities of the total as well.